Need computer training for a group or office? Contact us today to get a free demo of our training at www.teachucomp.com/enterprise-licensing.
All tasks have some type of constraint applied to them. A constraint is simply a scheduling rule that determines the start or end times of a task, or otherwise controls the scheduling and rescheduling available for the task. Constraints allow the scheduling engine within Microsoft Project to reschedule tasks as needed within a project file. By default, Microsoft Project creates tasks with flexible constraints to allow for maximum flexibility in rescheduling. However, you can set the constraints for a task as desired to produce semi-flexible or inflexible constraints when needed. In Microsoft Project, the available task constraints are grouped into three main types: flexible constraints, semi-flexible constraints, and inflexible constraints. Flexible constraints, which are used for task scheduling by default, allow for tasks to be scheduled without any date restrictive limitations, with the exception being the starting or ending dates of the predecessor or successor tasks within the project file. When you use a constraint type, such as soon as possible, you're using a flexible constraint. Now you can also create semi-flexible constraints, which allow for task scheduling within a date boundary that you choose. For example, setting a start no earlier than task constraint will allow your task to be scheduled any time after a specified date has passed. This is an example of using a semi-flexible constraint. You can also create inflexible constraints. Using inflexible constraints prevents the rescheduling of the task. For example, using the must start on constraint forces a task to begin on the date specified. When you specify an inflexible constraint, the task will never be automatically rescheduled for any reason. In Microsoft Project, you can set the task constraints within the Task Information dialog box on the Advanced tab by using the Constraint Type and Constraint Date drop-down menus. Simply select the type of constraint to apply from the Constraint Type drop-down, and if necessary, select a date from the adjacent Constraint Date drop-down. Then click the OK button to save the task when you're finished.
Like what you see? Get a free demo of our training for groups of 5 or more at www.teachucomp.com/enterprise-licensing.